You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome to the Tuesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Tuesday. Welcome, everybody. Michael Hasser, welcome. Narwhale, first on YouTube. Moanep, welcome. Welcome, everybody. All right, folks, we got to get it started here, folks. A couple of announcements. I'm going to be making this announcement again. Wolfglen, welcome. I'm going to be making this announcement again during the middle of the stream, and maybe towards the end as well. So tomorrow, folks, the stream will not be at it will not be the regular stream. Okay, tomorrow, catch me on YouTube at 10 p.m. on the Ladder Hacks channel for another episode of Left Past 10. There will be another announcement on the Discord. If you don't have the link, it's right here. The usual, folks. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support. You guys are what makes this channel go. I appreciate you guys being here. If you want to support the channel, keep doing what you're doing. Consider checking out the Discord. If you want to support the channel directly, check out the merch store. Hit the exclamation mark tip button. Check out the Substack. Twitch, I hope to see you all tomorrow night. Please remind us through Discord tomorrow. We'll shortly forget. Yeah, I'll also post. I'll post it today. I'll post it tomorrow, and I'll also make an announcement probably in the middle or and the end of stream as well. Tomorrow, 10 p.m. So there will be no like regular stream as it normally is like right now. It'll just be I'll just be on Left Past 10. All right, folks, let's get started. Miss Kasanya, but do they offer free apples with wasabi? Probably not, I'm be honest.
Even though it feels like years since Trump was first sworn in, we are only approaching the 100th day of his second administration, believe it or not. Now, he has caused so much chaos and destruction that I don't think anything else going forward is going to surprise us. Sure, we'll see new lows, but I think that anyone who's paying attention is expecting the worst at this point. I mean, just last week, his administration arrested a judge, and the day after that, his team started selling Trump 2028 merch. Were you surprised by that?
Nope.
I don't think so. Was I surprised by that? No.
No, it's not surprising. It's just shocking, right? It's not, there's nothing surprising. It's just shocking. That's all.
Now, the week before that, Trump's counterterror czar floated the idea of charging political opponents with terrorism. Not to mention, the official White House Twitter account tweeted a photo of Trump holding a clearly doctored image of tattoos on Abrigo Garcia's hand to, I guess, prove that he's a member of MS-13. I don't know who this is for, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, like, they want to make the case that, like, the symbolism behind the tattoos mean, like, MS-13. Which is, like, not freaking true, man. This is fabricated. This is all BS, okay? Like, even the Salvadorian government doesn't have any evidence of his of him being a member of a gang, much less a criminal record. Heat, how's it going? Not just beaches with cottage cheese. MS-13 sounds like some 3-barrel rifle design from the USSR.
That's what they tweeted. Not to mention the day before that, they explicitly tweeted that he's not coming back, even though the Supreme Court said in a 9-0 ruling that they have to facilitate his return.
Yep.
And none of this is surprising. But the question is, what does he have in store for us this week? And will we be surprised by it? I don't think so, but I think most of us are expecting him to reach new lows, and that is indeed the case, not just for the administration, but for his supporters and what they're willing to support as well. And we found out that Trump's DOJ is ordering ICE agents to enter Americans' homes without warrants if they suspect that a so-called alien enemy is being harbored.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is some, like, straight-up Gestapo stuff, right? Like, I know we consistently make the connection, and we consistently, like, hammer down the point that, like, ICE is basically the Gestapo. But, like, yeah, man, this is just pure Gestapo stuff. Like, the Fourth Amendment doesn't exist anymore, essentially. That's basically what they're saying. Why is the cross 1 and not 3? God, they're lazy. Who knows? Look, if you have, like, the Real Madrid tattoo, you're a gang member. If you have, like, a crown tattoo, then yeah, also gang member. If you have, like, the Nike Jumpman logo, also gang member. So it just doesn't make any sense. They wipe their butts with the Constitution, let's be real. True. Looks like the good old Patriot Act is coming back.
And on top...
I mean, like, the times of the Patriot Act, when it was fully in effect, are quaint now compared to what we're looking at.
Of that, he signed an illegal executive order instructing federal agencies to not abide by the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, which was passed back in 1974 and amended in 1976 to bar discrimination against women based on marital status. Now, prior to this law's passage, banks could require women to have a male guardian co-sign loans for them. But if federal agencies aren't enforcing the law, then discrimination against women that still very much exists could go unpunished, as lawsuits would just come to a standstill since the federal government is no longer going to defend them since the law isn't being enforced. Oh yeah, and the White House press secretary didn't shut down the possibility of arresting Supreme Court justices when she was asked about it by a reporter, which is totally normal for functioning democracies, folks. Happens all the time. But as bad as all of this is, I don't think anyone is...
I mean, like, I think that, like, at this point, like, anyone that's not trying, anyone in Congress, right, that isn't trying to impeach this guy is complicit. Anyone. Like, there should be filings for impeachment every single day. Okay, the call to vote for filing impeachment articles of impeachment should be happening like every single day. That's what should be happening.
Surprised by this since we passed the Rubicon a long time ago. Still, having said that, though, there are things that are so demonic that this administration is doing that you can't not look at it and think, I can't believe it's come to this, even though I expected it to come to this at some point. So I want to focus on one story in particular that really shows that there is no depth to the cruel.
Yeah, I mean, like, all of this is, again, not surprising. It's just shocking, because it should shock you, right? Like, this is some wild stuff we're experiencing here.
Of this administration or his supporters. So we've reached the stage where we're now deporting U.S. children without due process. One of them, by the way, has stage 4 cancer and was not given access to their medication when they were deported with their mother. And the Trump administration isn't calling these deportations mistakes or administrative errors. They're just admitting, yeah, they did it. And now they're defending it. They're doubling down. And worse, his supporters aren't just saying they're okay with this, they are cheering it on as things like this happen. But before we get to all of that,
That's akin to murder. Yeah, basically. If you take away, like, life-saving medication and that person dies, then, like, you killed that person, right? Especially when there's, like, literally no reason to do so. I mean, like, you literally killed that child. You prevented that child from having life-saving medication. Globus, welcome. The legendary ADT. Welcome, Globus. Social murder, as Engels put it. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly correct. Yes. Exactly correct.
I want to give you some basic details about this story because it is as bad as it sounds. The Washington Post reports 3 U.S. children from 2 different families were deported with their mothers by Immigration and Customs Enforcement during the early hours of Friday morning. One of them is a 4-year-old with stage 4 cancer who was deported without medication or the ability to contact their doctors, the family's lawyers said. According to their lawyers, both families were taken into custody while attending routine check-ins this week in New Orleans as part of the intensive supervision appearance program, which allows individuals to remain in their communities while undergoing immigration proceedings. Lawyers say the families were taken to Alexandria, Louisiana, a 3-hour drive from New Orleans, where they were prevented from communicating with their family members and legal representatives, and then put on a flight to Honduras. Lawyers representing the father of the 2-year-old U.S. citizen who was deported, identified as VML in court documents, filed an emergency petition in the Western District of Louisiana on Thursday, seeking her release. The child was put on a plane to Honduras the next morning before the court opened. They didn't even give him a chance. Hours after the deportation, U.S. District Judge Terry A. Doty, a Trump appointee...
I know, like, we talked about this yesterday, but man, this is so gross. This is so disgusting.
Issued an order expressing his concern that the girl had been deported against her father's wishes, while stressing it is illegal and unconstitutional to deport U.S. citizens. Now, I want to give you some additional context here. This judge, Terry Doty, as the article stated, is a Trump appointee. This is a very, very conservative judge. But as a result of this particular case, with a 2-year-old being deported without a hearing, guess what this judge did? He now set a hearing for May to determine whether or not the Trump administration just deported a 2-year-old U.S. citizen without due process. And he explicitly said that that is his strong suspicion. So when you have a rogue Trump-appointed judge saying this is too far even for me, this is too illegal and unconstitutional even for me, that's when you know this administration has lost the plot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, that's been... ICE agency to be held responsible as well. They know what they're doing is illegal as AF. Yeah, 100%. Like, 100%. That kid with cancer was MS-13 in Trinidad. True. Walking stick library. Usually, the parent of a very sick child gets to stay because the child is ill. Yeah, and not only that, I'm getting the cases mixed up, but one of the parents was a citizen. They were never given that opportunity to like even stay with the other parent. They were already on a plane before that could even be discussed. Just very, very, very gross stuff.
And again, we're talking about a 2-year-old child who happens to be a U.S. citizen. And it wasn't just the child that was deported, it was also the child's mother, as well as her 11-year-old sister. Not a citizen, but was deported. Basically, a dreamer, didn't get due process. Neither did the mother, seemingly. And the child's father only had the chance to talk to her for about a minute before ICE ended the call and snatched the phone away from her. In other words, this all happened so fast that the father had zero chance to actually intervene to stop his 2-year-old child from being deported to a foreign country. This is insane.
Yeah, the other parent and siblings get deported if both parents and other older siblings are non-citizens. Yeah, one of them. I don't know about both cases, but one of them is a citizen. The other, that father that he was just mentioning was a citizen. So, like, the child could have stayed with the dad, but they never got to that point because they put him on a plane and deported the mom and the child. The father was born here, no question, so as was the child. Yep. I do kind of wonder what's the point of these deportations. To send a message, terrorizing certain populations, stupidity. I mean, like, all of the above. Like, terrorism, sending a message, right, that this is a white country. I don't know. There's not really much to logic when talking about just straight up like Nazi shit. The 2-year-old went with his non-citizen mom. Now sometimes the parents split the family up. In some families, they might even leave the citizen child behind if both parents are not citizens. Right, but like they never got that opportunity. They never got that opportunity to suss that out. Right, like the dad was trying to keep the child here, but they never gave them the chance to kind of make that happen. Fascism. Yep.
Now, we don't have much details about the specifics, whether or not the parents were together or split up or who had custody, but the mother, whose child is a U.S. citizen, was clearly doing everything that she was supposed to do in order to stay in the country. She was undergoing immigration proceedings and whatnot. So the fact that she was a priority to be deported and wasn't allowed to even talk to her lawyers speaks to the depravity of this administration. And we don't know if the mother had a criminal record. Details are
right. Like, again, the whole point also of pushing this is like to cement the precedent that like due process is not a thing, right? They want to hammer this idea that due process is not a thing, okay? And they want to keep hammering that idea by just shoehorning doing stuff like this, right? By just like, oh, so what if they were a citizen, right? Like they get deported. So what if this undocumented immigrant didn't commit any crimes? So what if they didn't have the opportunity to get their case heard before a judge? Like that's the whole point. Because then they can establish the fact that, like, well, you know what? Nobody has due process. If we say you're a criminal, then, like, that's it. That's all we need, right? It's white supremacy shit. They want to increase white birth rates while kicking everyone else out. Yep. Fear throws everyone off balance, so people will cuck to the fascists so they don't get chosen to go. Yep. The letter hack. Matt, welcome. Hello, hello. That's like satanic panic vibes. Doing well. Hope you're all well too. Yep, we're hanging in there.
still sparse at the time that I record this video, but let's assume that she did for a minute. What's the excuse for the 11-year-old daughter who's a dreamer? Did she have a criminal record? Why did she have to be deported? As for the 4-year-old with stage 4 cancer, also deported with their mother, let's assume the worst about their mother as well. Let's assume that that person's mother was a hardened criminal with a long, long rap sheet. Is it worthwhile to maybe consider?
Nope. Nope. They can't have that, right? Like, the whole point is to establish this idea.
For a minute, making an exception since her child literally has stage 4 cancer? Can we maybe think perhaps this isn't the priority at this moment in time since they're seeing a U.S. doctor for their stage 4 cancer? I mean, is there not an expectation to at least let them get their medicine before you ship them off to a foreign country? Can they not do that? I mean, it's not just the illegality here that's the problem. It's the inconceivable cruelty. And as I read this article multiple times in preparation for this show, each time I read it, I grew more and more just perplexed.
Yeah, cruelty is kind of like the point. It's like if the Purge had unlimited funding. I read that conservative minds have been shown to have more active fear centers in their brains, so whether one begot the other or the other way around, who knows, but they go hand in hand. Yep. Yeah, I mean, like, this is exactly how this works, right? You have to be scared and in constant crisis for this to work, right? Walking Stick Library, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that.
By the fact that this isn't like from fiction. This is happening right now in the United States.
Yep.
And as you're going to see, Trump's administration is defending it. The lack of regard for the health of a child, by the way, a 4-year-old who's a U.S. citizen with cancer, is mind-numbing to me. But again, I'm not surprised. And I'm sure that they're
if these people, okay, like, this goes like, just roll it back, folks. Roll it back. If these people watched children get massacred at school and said, you know what? We're not going to do anything about this. Why would they care about a child who is suffering from stage 4 cancer in a country that doesn't even guarantee health care for anyone? Like, this idea that conservatives have any type of, like, ability to empathize, right? Like, is just it just left the chat. Okay? That idea left the chat a long time ago when they when they saw children get massacred in schools and said, fear makes you want to go back to when things were safe for you. Yep.
find new ways to be cruel to children as well as time goes on because they're innovative in their cruelty. They think of new ways to torture people that none of us could even conceive of. So the question that's been at the back of our minds, though, with regard to whether or not this administration is going to deny due process to U.S. citizens, since that's what's happening to non-citizens, has now been answered, by the way. The answer is, unsurprisingly, yes, they do it to U.S. citizens, and they wouldn't just deny due process to U.S. citizens. They deny due process to U.S. citizens and make no exceptions for them, even if they are children literally stricken with cancer. It is the worst of the worst of the worst case scenarios, and they're not even bothering to lie about it. They're just defending it. For example, here's what Marco Rubio and Tom Homan said when they were asked about the deportations of literal children.
On the headline.
Yeah, by the way, Marco Rubio also came from a family of immigrants, right? And not that distant of illegal immigrants, by the way. Like, I think his grandfather was an undocumented immigrant.
That's a misleading headline. Okay, 3 U.S. citizens, ages 4, 7, and 2, were not deported. Their mothers, who are legally in this country, were deported. The children went with their mothers. If those children are U.S. citizens, They can come back into the United States if there's their father or someone here who wants to assume them. But ultimately, who was
Like, that's so freaking gross, man. Like, it's just so gross. Like, the lengths that these ghouls will go to justify this, like, horrific shit. Marco Rubio knows he's lying, right? He knows he's lying, okay? This isn't very hard to suss out. Dude should know better. He does. Yeah, he absolutely knows. Like, he knows he's lying.
deported was their mothers who were here illegally. The children just went with their mothers. But it wasn't like, you guys make it sound like ICE agents kicked down the door and grabbed the 2-year-old and threw him on an airplane. That's misleading.
Yeah.
That's just not true.
But, like, that's literally what happened, though, right? Like, ICE agents apprehended the mom and the kids and put them on planes before anything could be sussed out. Technically, it's not a lie. The problem is they got to the mother to sign a document under distress. Yeah, but, like, they didn't even have the time to, like, suss any of this out. So, like, if there's no, like, procedure being followed here, they're just, you know, like, they're just doing stuff, then, like, yeah, I mean, you know, he can try. Marco Rubio can try and spin this, right? You know, all he wants, but, like, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Like, people like Marco Rubio know exactly. They're well aware. Like, you know, you could tell because, like, in the interactions between, like, Rubio and Trump and stuff, like, you could tell, like, this dude's body language, like, half the time, like, he's like not even there. Like, half the time he's, like, mentally checked out because he knows, like, he knows how absurd this whole thing is. Always put VC before signature. Maybe very cool. That's what that stands for. You're right. Yeah, I mean, he knows. He knows. This ghoul. Ooh, this ghoul. This ghoul knows what he's doing. Joan of Arc got to speak on her behalf more than these poor people. Yep.
No U.S. citizen child was deported. Deported means you got to be deported by an immigration judge. We don't deport U.S. citizens.
The mother was
These
deported
children
along with the children.
The children aren't deported. The mother chose to take the children with her.
So you don't think...
But we don't know that, right? Like, we got reports saying that the family was trying to stop this. They could have gotten a warrant in a matter of hours if they really tried, but they don't want a paper trail. Yes, correct. The reason why they're doing this, the way they're doing this, is because they want to continue to hammer down this point of like due process, right? Like, it's just like due process is just like not a thing. That's really what this is also like about. They want to stress a stress test and push the idea that due process is not a thing. They can do whatever they want to whoever they want, and if they deem you a criminal, then, like, that's it. If they deem you a gang member and you look brown, that's it. That's all they need.
think there should be compassionate consideration for a 4-year-old child undergoing treatment for cancer?
I didn't say that. I said
Well, that was the question.
ICE officers do have discretion.
Yeah.
ICE officers do have discretion. I'm not familiar with the specific case. I don't know what facts surround this case.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Like, whatever, you ghoul. Kirkenstein's monster, welcome. Whatever.
I've just made aware of this when you mentioned this morning. I was not aware of that case.
These people are genuinely evil. So by their twisted logic, they didn't technically deport U.S. citizens since they're children of mothers who were deported that chose to take them with them when they were deported. Except what happens when you deport a mother with U.S. children? Answer that question. You effectively deport the child too, which is why the right often complained about so-called anchor babies. Because
Right, like this is just like semantics, man. You're playing, it's a distinction without a difference. Does that make sense? Yeah, they're literally doing the Peter Griffin meme. Yep. Charlie Martini, welcome. Yeah, it's a distinction. It's a distinction without a difference. Like Wolf Glenn said, like, yeah, well, technically, yeah, whatever, dude. I mean, like, yeah, they can play these semantic games, but like, I mean, okay,
because they knew that you couldn't really deport a mother without deporting her child too. And if the child was born on U.S. soil, that child is a U.S. citizen who you cannot deport. Therefore, through the citizenship of the child, usually you don't really want to go for mothers with U.S. children, since that's kind of gray territory. It's a little bit tricky if we're just trying to like talk about this in legal terms and not speak of the morality altogether. But now there are
legal terms. It's just eugenics the long way round. They probably won't respect it immediately, but any other authority will notice the signature. Oh, the under duress thing? Maybe. I'm just under the impression that legality, okay, and what's permissible and what the law says and what's constitutional, all of that has left the chat, okay?
official stance is actually fuck those kids and fuck their mothers too. Fuck them even if they have cancer. And to make matters worse, the lack of due process in these cases ensured that literal U.S. citizens who were children were deported. Didn't even give them a chance to make their cases. And again, both of the women, they weren't allowed to contact their attorneys, and only one of them got to talk to the father for a minute until ICE snatched the phone away. So the fathers, the grandparents, they didn't have the chance to request custody for the U.S. citizen children before they were deported. They didn't get to petition the court to hear them out. It just, none of it. I'm so blown away by this. They didn't give the mother who they deported the chance to at least temporarily stay in the country while her 4-year-old underwent cancer treatment.
Nope.
There wasn't a process even in that instant.
Yeah, it's because, again, they want to do away with that concept, right? Like they want people to understand that, like, the laws are what we make them, okay? If we say that you are criminals, then, like, so be it. If we say that the president has unilateral power, then so be it. If we say that we can strip citizenship away to whoever we deem terrorists or whatever, so be it. You know, it's that's really what it is. It's about establishing this this fact. Laws are for poor is true. Kirk, absolutely terrible, to be honest. At this point, I might just log off soon. Yeah, I mean, look, it's not peachy, so I get it. I'd get myself arrested for other reasons if they did that to me. It's weird when they do this to male immigrants with their kids. They don't deport the kids too. I just realized that they told Kilmar's wife to come get her kids. What the F? I mean, like, it's established as fact. Like, dude, what is due process? Right? Like, we can do this to kids. We can do this to kids with children. We can do this to people who've never had criminal records. Like, it doesn't matter. You know, we'll keep making this point, and we will continue to do this and continue to act however we want, and nobody's going to stop us. That's it. Like, that's basically the focal point of why they're being so cruel. Jet, welcome. Yeah, fash is gonna fash.
Instance. But Tom Homan, he played dumb, and he said that he wasn't aware of that particular case because ICE agents, they have discretion, so they're doing things that he's not aware of. But I'm glad that he brought that up because that's a major problem. If these ICE agents, who are basically the modern day equivalent to the Gestapo, have so
these auto captions are funny. Gestapo. They think the kids are the mother's responsibility too. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point as to why that's actually a very good point. That makes perfect sense.
so much discretion to handle these cases as they see fit, and they're unlawfully detaining U.S. citizens and Canadian citizens and kidnapping students and throwing them in unmarked vehicles and breaking windows of cars and entering homes without warrants and not letting immigrants talk to attorneys. Maybe they shouldn't have this much discretion. Maybe all of this power is corrupting them. Maybe these people are morally defective.
That's the point, Mike. Modern day gazpacho. That's the point. That's why these people were selected to be ICE agents.
And they are evil, and they shouldn't be in control of people's lives.
It's Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, your DSCC chair, and I need your help immediately.
Do you? Time for a cig.
They know that ICE is abusing power, though. They're not actually dumb, and that's the point. They are deliberately cultivating a culture of fear, and they want agents to be as cruel as possible as a deterrent to other future immigrants. And I say this because a couple of weeks ago, there was a video of an ICE agent breaking a car window to abduct an immigrant, and it went viral. And ICE put out a response to the video after it went viral and basically said, you know, the ICE agent didn't use excessive force. He basically handled that situation appropriately. And CNN is going to break it down with some additional facts here.
But they did issue a statement, and they said that the actions of the officers in that video that you just watched were, quote, deemed appropriate by the officers on the scene, going on to say that those officers are trained, quote, to use the minimum amount of force necessary to resolve a situation. They also provide a little more background as to the man that they took into custody, Juan Francisco Menendez. He's 29 years old, and they say in the statement, quote, is an illegally present Guatemalan alien who was detained by ICE Boston and
Yeah, that's the pinnacle of measured behavior. That is the peak and definition of measured behavior. Winnie Rose, welcome. Schmegley, welcome.
New Bedford, Massachusetts, April 14th, going on to say that during the course of the arrest, he refused to comply with officers' instructions and resisted apprehension. Now, his wife talks about this a little bit, and their attorney elaborated to say that when they were pulled over, they did call the attorney. The attorney had recommended to them that they give the her business card to the officers and told them to remain silent. But as you can see, it escalated there with them smashing the window. Now, the attorney also says,
I mean, like, is this, like, normal? Like, who does this? Bozy, welcome. Poggers. They just happen to have a sledgehammer with them? Yeah, like, who does this? Who does this? fascists do. Yeah, like even for cops, okay, even for cops, this is like this is wild. They did this to a woman a couple weeks ago. She wouldn't let them in her house, and they stalked her after she got in her car. Oof.
His wife says that he has no criminal record, that while he did cross into the U.S. legally, they were trying to adjust his status, and he appears to qualify for a form of asylum. So that was underway when, of course, this happened and he was detained. Now, I will also note that
like he got like he's got like some construction tool. Ladybug, welcome. Kralia, welcome. We know that ICE hasn't been arresting any real gang members, or more ICE agents would be getting shot. Every day should be a holiday. Or birthday.
Department of Homeland Security often defers to to Immigration and Customs Enforcement on
you wouldn't even open a car window like this. I mean, like, this is wild. ICE is an illegal Gestapo police, 100%. They should be abolished.
On how they decide to proceed with any type of encounter and their discretion. We saw this earlier in the year with some of the memos that they put out, particularly when doing enforcement, for example, near churches or.
Have that in case a child or animal is locked in a hot car. I mean, like, there's devices for this, right? That, like, even cops have devices for this stuff.
Schools, essentially putting the onus on the officers to decide whether something is appropriate or not. I will also note that not long ago, we were similarly covering the story of a Salvadoran woman who was in the vehicle with her daughter in Maryland, and her window was also shattered, and she was taken into custody. We've continued to report on what exactly it is that they have held her for, but certainly this is something that we have seen over time now.
And now it's only a matter of time until they smash the windows of your home if they suspect that you're harboring an undocumented immigrant. This harkens back to a time in human history that we said we'd never repeat, but here we are in America in 2025 doing the same thing we said we would never let happen again. And to be clear, the cruelty is the point. They've decided that immigrants aren't human, therefore it's okay to treat them like animals. And in case you're wondering whether or not MAGA thinks that this administration has taken things too far, the people who voted for Trump in particular think maybe I didn't sign up for all of this.
Nah,
the answer is no.
I think, like, unfortunately, there's like an uncomfortable amount of people that are like super okay with this. There's an uncomfortable amount of people that are okay with this. I don't know what that exact percentage is. It usually it usually like lays within that like 20-ish, maybe 30-ish percent. It is freaky. As MTG would say, the gazpacho, please. Waiting for the worms comes to mind for some reason. Jesus, you smash a side window with an automatic center punch with a tungsten carbide tip at the corner. That's standard. Yeah, like I said, there's literally tools for it. Like, cops carry this stuff. It was a tool for taking down doors, part sledgehammer, part pry bar. Any amount more than zero is an uncomfortable amount. True. I'm surprised ICE isn't putting this shit on TikTok like the IDF. Oh no, it's much better than that. They literally have like the White House lining up with pictures of like, I was gonna go over this after this video, but like they literally have the official press secretary posting videos like this. So yeah. I was gonna play it after, but I guess we can. I guess this is a good time to like, not divert, but like to hammer down this. This is literally the press secretary posting this video on the Everything app. It's all BS, I bet. Yeah, I mean, like, I just assumed that anything this administration puts out, no names. I think there's names. It's hard to see. I think their names are like super small, like just barely visible. I imagine like I imagine on purpose because like if you zoom in or stop, you might be able to read the names, and you don't want people researching the names. Notice they're all named illegal alien. Is that what it is? Because I can't even see. Like, this video isn't exactly crystal clear. The press secretary didn't say no to arresting Supreme Court justices. Yep. Is that what they all say? Just illegal alien? I genuinely can't tell. Distribution of fentanyl is not a crime. Whitmore is sucking up to him, so he gives us new jets. They are named illegal alien. Seriously, is that what it says? Because I'm asking like genuinely because I can't actually see what this says. This is how a serial killer decorates their basement. Looks homicide. It's their supposed crime, right? It doesn't even say like convicted. It just says like arrested. You see, notice the language there. Throw it into some upscaling AI and zoom in. Yeah, so all of them are named illegal alien. It genuinely says that. That is freaking wild. That is so you can't even look. Even if you had like a good quality video, or if you actually went to the place where this is being displayed, you wouldn't even be able to this is how you know like you can't like believe a single thing, because like not even their actual names are there, so you can verify if this is actually true, right? Yeah, pure propaganda. Like, and notice how none of this says convicted, just arrested. Again, like the whole point is revolving around this idea. The whole point is revolving around this idea that due process shouldn't exist. Welcome, Sisyphean Task. I swear there's a repeat in the images. It's probably. I mean, like, there's nothing to believe in this administration, really. But like, yeah, notice how none of this says convicted. You know why? Because again, they want to establish this idea that due process is just not a thing. It's not a thing we do anymore. Like, if you're arrested and we say you did, and like murder and homicide, like that's literally the same. Okay, whatever. A homicide, by the way, could be justified. Okay, murder is a crime, but there could be instances where homicide could be justified, like in self-defense. Is murder different than homicide? Yeah, it is. It is different, because murder is a crime. Homicide is just like somebody killed a person, right? So like, yeah, you could technically commit homicide in self-defense, and that's not a crime, right? As an example. Right, murder requires intent. A car accident would also be homicide. Every murder is a homicide, but not every homicide is a murder. Correct. Right, and they have like this is actually wild. Like again, homicide is not a crime. That's not a crime that you would convict somebody. No one gets convicted of homicide, right? Is that just an AI blob? You know, might as well. Like, we can just like say like this is all just BS, as multiple people have said. This is clear propaganda. Right, homicide, bad lefty, welcome. Homicide is just the death of a man, correct? Yeah, vehicular manslaughter, technically a homicide. But that is not the same as murder. That's correct. This is wild. Like, they just like cycled like the 6 like most worst sounding things, and they just like slapped it on everybody. Look at us. This is first year of law stuff. I feel smart. Murder and robbery, because they were just tired of putting murder. Yeah, like the same thing. I think someone else pointed out in chat. It's literally the same thing.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh wait, we got it right here. We got it right here. Yeah, they all say illegal alien. Clear as day. Multiple sex offenses. Yeah, sure. There is no names to verify this, by the way. Fentanyl and illegal gun. Like, okay, what does this mean? What is fentanyl and illegal gun? Like, fentanyl is not the name of a crime. Like, actually doing consuming drugs is not really a crime. Imagine if your job was to make those or put up the signs. Good grief. 2 of them look white AF. Yeah, they all say illegal alien. Most look quite white. Yeah, I mean, like, maybe it's just the way, like, the photos work, because, I mean, you know, there's, like, a lot of white-looking Hispanic and Latino people. Wow. The grammar's physically painful. I wonder how long they've been out there. Could be sun bleach, too. True. Anyways, yeah, like, so, yeah, I mean, this is the kind of stuff we're getting here. So the effect is twofold, right? We have the concept that due process shouldn't and isn't a thing here in the United States anymore, and dehumanization, right? Like, that's two, right? Because they don't even have names, right? They don't want you to think of them as people. They don't want you to think about looking them up, right? They don't want you to look up the names. They don't want you to think they don't want you to think of these people as people, right? Just that all you need to know about the other is that they were arrested for these crimes. That's it. Not convicted. There was no trial, nothing. It just says arrested, right? Looney Tunes, welcome. No verification. Yep, no verification whatsoever, and that's kind of the point. We don't want people looking too deep into any of these cases, into seeing if whether or not the homicide the homicide charge was actually a thing. Late Surf Raider here, plus a Vanguard raid is incoming. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think I saw Indecent Liberties late at Cinemax. They use on, with, and of interchangeably, and I don't appreciate it. Well, language, command of the English language, despite them wanting to make, the irony is that they made the English language the official language of the United States, and here they are, not being able to English very well.
And I say this because Vinny Oshana of the Far Right PBD podcast was on Piers Morgan defending the deportation of a 2-year-old.
That 2-year-old was here with an illegal alien mother. And if
Yeah, so like you see, that's all you need to know. Right? Just like how in the White House lawn they put like a bunch of pictures of people. I don't even know if they're real people. Presumably they might be. I don't know. It could be AI generated, could be not. I don't know. They could be real people. The point is, no one can verify this because there's no names attached to it. It literally just says illegal alien, and that's all you need to know, right? That's all you need to know because, they're not human. That's it. Soul Life, welcome. That's all you need to know. One drop rule, like not even like it's just a Peter Griffin meme. It doesn't matter if you don't look, if you don't pass. Well, maybe I am. Maybe you're right. Maybe they do. Maybe they do want to go back to that. I'm thinking of just like the Peter Griffin meme, but whatever. Evil people to wear the cross, he'd hate Jesus. Yep.
the mother gets deported, Piers, the kids go with the mother. So stop
She
that
is a
rhetoric.
2-year-old being
That's not true? Question mark? That's not how this works? That's not how this works? Yeah, deluxe color charts at the ready.
concentration camp. Excuse me.
And if you look at the comment sections under articles about this, for example, the New York Post, they were downright giddy about these deportations. Here's some examples. Great job, ICE. Keep up the great work. Tom Homan is the border czar, and boy, is he doing a great job cleaning up the Democrat mess. Democrats
Of course, this person would be named Gates.
obviously want kids to be separated from their parents. That's Obama thinking.
Yeah, that's Obama thinking, man. You know, the 4-year-old with cancer. That's Obama thinking. For wanting to make sure that they like have health care. You know, never mind like the fact that like they're citizens or whatnot. Like, never mind that and how the ramifications legally of that is. But sure, whatever, dude. Obama thinking. Sure, why not? That kid is an American citizen, and so is her father. Yep.
Keep up the great work, Tom. It's appreciated, sir. The best team is this one. Nome is also working to keep America safe. Children don't have agency unless they live in California and want to transition. Okay? The left is so...
Why? Who like rent-free, man. Trans people live rent-free in these freaks' head. Like, this has nothing to do with trans people, and they like immediately bring up trans people. Rent free. It's like how Germany had rules about the mother's side being Jewish, so when the father's the immigrant, they get to stay. Yep.
Desperate and just keeps lying and gaslighting, and we just keep laughing. We got it from here. I couldn't care less one way or the other as long as they're deported.
Yep.
I came here to say the same thing. First, children born to illegals in the U.S. are not legal citizens.
Wrong. They are legal citizens. It's literally in the Constitution. Yeah, definition of unhinged. Yeah. Hey, Google. Hey, Siri. Bring up some like unhinged. Like, give me the definition of unhinged. Okay, that's literally what would come up.
Send them all home. That's the response to a story about a U.S. citizen who's 4 years old with cancer getting deported. And look, this is not the first time that MAGA...
There's no like reconciliation. Like there's no reconciling this. Does that make like sense? There's no you can't like there's no reconciling with this. Fact check, they are citizens. Yep, the 14th Amendment under the United States Constitution it is quite clear. These are bots or all the same person. Gross. No, I'm afraid that well, it is possible that some of those are bots. Maybe that's just who we are as a country. I'm not saying we as in like we, you guys, but I'm saying like maybe that's just how this country is. Maybe that's just how tens of millions of people think. And that's how we got here. Mike in his swinger shirt. Hey, don't hate on... Oh, I get it. The pineapple. Ah. I was about to say, don't hate on Mike's fashion. I want them to be bots, okay? Let me dream. I think bots... I think bots ferment those ideas, but humans absolutely spread them too. I mean, yeah, I'm not... That's not... In fact, that's definitely a thing that's happened. Oh, people absolutely think that way. Yep. Yeah, if they are bots, people are putting the bots there for a reason. That's also true.
Has celebrated deportations. There was a TikTok video of a young man crying about his mom getting deported that was shared on Twitter. It went viral, and MAGA was laughing hysterically in the comments, saying, "This is awesome. This is what I voted for. Thumbs up." Mark Cuban also asked Trump supporters after the election if they'd support the deportation of, for example, a grandmother who's been here for decades with grandchildren and children in the country, and they overwhelmingly said, yes, send her to whatever country she came from. This is a modern-day Nazi movement who thinks that this should be a country exclusively for white people.
Yep. Mike has maybe the perfect beard. The boy got style. Yeah, Mike does have style. Eager, welcome. Y'all hear about the Jewish Israeli woman that got beat up by a pro-Palestinian mob because she was pro-Palestine? I think that happened to several people, right? Like there was several protests like this? Or is that like the same protest that happened?
They're barely hiding the fact that they want a white ethno-state anymore. I mean, listen to White House Press Secretary laugh in response to blatant racism from a right-wing influencer named Aaron Wexler. You're not going to see her on video, but you have Sean Spicer and the White House Press Secretary laughing in response to just straight-up racism.
And I can attest to the deportations.
Celebrating the election win with a couple of conservative Coke and vodka. Well, yeah, congratulations on avoiding Maple MAGA. Okay, so I'll give you that. There's two things here. Number one, like you avoided Maple MAGA, and number two, Poilievre or whatever his name is lost his seat. So, yeah. Like that's the real story about the night is Poilievre losing his seat. So yeah. I only heard about this one woman. The media hasn't said a word. He lost it bad too, over 15 points. It's like these people saw Gangs of New York and thought that's what we need to return to. Nazi Millhouse. In student elections, the majority voted for conservatives. I mean, well, the conservatives had the conservatives were looking were actually looking at a big. They had a big on paper the upper hand, but it didn't materialize at the end. Mike Gaynor's off the ballot for Buffalo mayor due to fraud. Collins had a 28-point lead and snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. Yeah. They had a decent lead. So yeah, quite the upset.
In Florida, my Uber drivers finally speak English again, so thank you for that.
Disgusting, but that's who these people are. Now ask yourself, with all of these deportations, have things gotten better in America generally speaking? I mean, we all know that they've gotten worse. Obviously, it's a rhetorical question, but specifically, they voted for Donald Trump. So, I mean, has he delivered? Has the cost of living gone down? Are you making more money right now? Were you able to buy a home or a car? Because apparently immigrants were the cause of all of our economic problems. So if we get them out of the country, then everything will be better, right? I mean, one would think that at some point MAGA would have to reckon with the fact that things haven't gotten better as Trump promised, despite the mass deportations that were linked to their economic suffering on the campaign trail. But I mean, the reason why there's no self-reflection in part is because they're too stupid to be introspective, and also because a large number of Trump supporters, they weren't just duped into voting against their own self-interest. Many were, sure, but a lot of them willingly voted against their own self-interest. They voted for Donald Trump despite knowing he would give tax cuts to the rich and deregulate, which would fuck them over, but they still voted for him anyway because they knew, even though things would get worse for them, things would get much, much worse for immigrants.
Right, and like that's the only thing that matters, right? So, cool. Jagmeet had to go. This is the third straight election losing seats. Oof. That's cool you got to meet the Prime Minister.
And that hate fuels them. Why do you need to
People living check now are going to wake up to unaffordable living very soon. Oh yeah, I mean like the by the way, the balloon hasn't gone up when it comes to like the economy. The balloon hasn't gone up yet. Not by a long shot. Like give it another we'll say give it another month or two, and let's revisit that conversation. Give it about a month or two when inventory starts, not existing anymore. That's the thing about these tariffs right now, they're about to hit, the ports are empty. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting at. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Give it a minute. Give it a minute. Does Kamala Army take foreigners? Have fun with those supply shortages that are about to happen. No, I don't. Fun's not the word that I would use. But yes. Ethan thinks it's clever to call Anthony Sargon. Millhouse. Anthony likes it. That's interesting. What are the terms in terms of healthcare? Well, Canada has somewhat of a somewhat of like a universal system. I think each province handles their own business, but yeah. I'll bog down, but it's universal healthcare. Gotcha. Yep, there it is.
When the only nourishment that you need is that hatred for your cold, dead heart. Like, they would happily cut off their noses to spite their face. That's
100%. I got a procedure done recently, and all I paid for was parking. Wow.
That's what a lot of them voted for. So these deportations are only going to continue to get worse and more cruel over time, and the modern-day Nazi movement, aka MAGA, is never going to bat an eye. They're not going to abandon him. It doesn't matter how many lines he crosses. There's no bottom to this disgusting death cult. So if you were thinking that they'd somehow turn on this administration if he crossed the line or just went too far, I'm here to tell you that that is never going to happen. There is no line. If they're celebrating the deportation of U.S. children, one of which has stage 4...
They sent me a check for $250. Wow. I specifically need trans surgeries. At this point, I'm low-key willing to do anything. How would those things look like there?
Cancer, there is literally nothing that these people won't celebrate.
That's actually a fantastic question. Like, how is like healthcare, because here it doesn't exist. Very receptive to trans care in Canada. Military, not so much. Gotcha. I live in British Columbia, so we are very left-leaning. Nice. Yeah, some provinces are more left-leaning than others. My understanding is Alberta is kind of on the worst end. I've heard mixed reviews, a lot of waiting and no dental. Well, I mean, that's kind of par for the course, right? Like, we have long waits here too. Basically, talk to your family doctor and get a referral to a specialist. We wait just as long as the Americans. Yeah, we have a wait too. Yep. Yep. That doesn't change. If I remember correctly, Alberta's the Florida of the North. Yeah, something like that. If you want like more information on that, I would probably recommend to go check out Hildebeest. Hildebeest or the Rational National also does a lot of Canada news, Canada related politics. Americans talk like there's no wait in the US. That can't be right. No, that's not a thing. That's definitely not a thing. Like, we absolutely, like, we had, you know, and especially if like you're if you don't have like good health insurance, right? Like, getting referrals to a specialist, it's a real pain. It's a real pain. Hildy doesn't stream anymore. I'm not specifically decided Canada, but at this point, I'm looking for options. I would even join a cartel if it pays off. We have pretty bad doctor shortage, but really what country doesn't right now? True, we have doctor shortage. We have nursing shortages. She did a one time for the election, but is functionally retired. Oh, okay, gotcha. Flash to cash and you go straight to knee surgery. No, that's not even how that works. Cuba doesn't have a doctor shortage. That's true. My girlfriend practices medicine and their waiting list is a few short. Cuba has an energy shortage. Yeah, depending on what you need, you're going to be waiting. depending on what you need. My girlfriend, a doctor, cannot have me as a patient. It's so effing funny. Yeah, I know. It's kind of a you can't really do that for ethical reasons. I think the chance of having bare grocery stores will in part depend on how far you are from the port. Well, eventually it would kind of trickle, right? I mean, like, I'm not saying that the actual grocery store is going to be completely bare, but a lot of like the big box stores, right, are going to have problems with inventory, right? Like your Walmarts, you know what I mean? The Midwest is going to be screwed. Yikes. Oh, to the waiting list. Walmart, Target, and those bigger box stores are going to be effed. Yep. There's no guavas at my usual Walmart on Sunday. Oof. Thoughts on Amazon tariffs? They already backpedal? Yeah, like by the time in the time I saw the article and I started the stream, which wasn't that long, it was a couple of hours. It's already changed. They already backpedaled. I want to see it, and it already changed by the time I like booted up the stream. The front half of Rite Aid was empty shelves. Jesus. Walmart and Target has the most of their house brands are from China. Yup. My big green grocery did not have chayotes either. They also had they had tons of calabaza squash. Walmart and none of the supermarkets had either Friskies, Tender Crunchers, or Gravy Swirlers. My cat's favorite Gibble. This was weird. Yikes. Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Bed Bath and Beyond. Oh, but Bed Bath is rest in peace. Bed Bath is done, and a few locals are gonna get real bad in the next few weeks. Yeah, I totally agree. Bed Bath, for all intents and purposes, is like not is they exist. You know, is not the word I would use for pet food. Try Petco and PetSmart. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do if I start seeing like empty cat food. You know, that's a problem. Okay, that's a problem. We might have to do that. We might have to go to and Petco and Petco and PetSmart are usually not the first, you know, my first go-to, but you might be right. It might be the only way, as you mentioned, because they have a bigger supply, because they're specifically like stocking up on that. They're gonna get hit hard too. Oh, I don't doubt it. It's just that they're bigger. They're specifically made for pet supplies. Prepare the meals on your own. I mean, cats had to eat something before cat food was invented. True. That's a good point. We'll have to literally make cat food if we can't find it. Bed Bath & Beyond filed for bankruptcy in 2022. They don't sell cheaper stuff like pepperoni or bacon. I said I have a spare room, access to an airplane, and capability to fly if anyone wants a holiday. Jesus. Sign me up. If anyone's pet eats wet food like meat, try asking your local butcher shop for scraps, and they'll either give you them to you or sell them for almost nothing. That's also a good point. That's a good. That's actually a good idea. Let's get ready for doctor hours and my girlfriend being nocturnal. There's 24-hour shifts from time to time. Jesus. All right, folks, we got a couple of articles to go through. I don't even know where to start. Let's do this one since Eager mentioned it earlier. Trump complained to Bezos before Amazon said it scrapped the idea to display the tariff cost. President Trump personally called Amazon founder Jeff Bezos on Tuesday to complain about a report that the online retail giant was considering displaying the tariff costs on its product listings. A source familiar with the matter told NBC News. Within hours of the call, Amazon publicly downplayed the scope of the plan and announced that it had been scrapped entirely. The pressure campaign on Bezos by Trump and the White House came after Punchbowl News reported earlier that Tuesday that Amazon will soon show consumers how much of an item costs come from the tariffs. Jeffy's a punk. Yep. I saw you guys lost another fighter to Poseidon again. 60 million. Yep. Yep. I still had a dog and cats. We ran out of dog food. My dad wisely told me, just don't tell him it's cat food. The amount of added as a result of tariffs will be displayed right next to each product's total. Can you imagine if they actually did this? Can you imagine if they actually did this? That would be phenomenal. Experts blame the Houthis for the plane going into the ocean. Yep, I saw that. The White House press secretary, Karen Levitt, responded to the report by torching Amazon over what she called a hostile and political act. Like, I was really going to go off this one quote here, okay, before Amazon decided to walk it back, which is, like, embarrassing, okay? They should do this, by the way. And number one, like, who is the government, who is the government telling, like, this company, or anyways, whatever, like, the so-called people that believe in, you know, small government, but okay, never mind that. Number two, also, like, how is showing the tariffs that, incidentally, the same administration put hostile, like, you guys did this. This is you put the tariffs on. Nobody told you to put the tariffs on. You did this. Amazon would have just been displaying your politics, the result of your politics. You made this decision, so like it's wild, man. Up is down. They were about to. Yep, Bezos should have kept it. I think they should have. It would also expose anyone raising prices and blaming tariffs. Yep. That's only funny when Trump does it. The same people that said it was wrong for Biden to ask Twitter to block the link to Hunter's laptop. Yep. That cross you wear should burn her. Conservatives want government so tiny it will fit in your womb. Ha! Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest levels in 40 years? Well, remind me when the Biden administration decided to unilaterally impose tariffs that inflated prices, that would inflate prices. Like, you let me know how you can tie that to the Biden administration. This is a specific policy, okay? They're just putting your political act on display. That's it. That's your policy. Bezos got that Blue Origin contract. He's on good behavior, it seems. She added, this is another reason why Americans should buy American. Well, unfortunately, we don't have a domestic production, okay? Imagine if Amazon posted the inflation rate on your bill. Amazon rates share dropped more than 2% in pre-market trading. Immediately following those remarks, by noon, the stock recovered its losses. Jesus Christ. Less than 2 hours after the press briefing, an Amazon spokesperson told CNBC that the company was only ever considering listing tariff charges on some products for Amazon Haul, its budget-focused shopping selection. The team that runs our ultra-low-cost Amazon Haul store considered listing import charges on certain products. This was never a consideration for the main Amazon site, and nothing has been implemented on any Amazon properties. Yeah, sure, dude, whatever. But in the follow-up statement after an hour after that, when the spokesperson clarified that the plan to show a tariff surcharge was never approved and is not going to happen. Yeah, okay, dudes. And of course, you know, another government official weighing in, saying, good move. Where can I buy American bananas and coffee? Yeah. That's a phenomenal question, you know? Yeah, buy American. Okay. Make America bananas again. Was my Hunter comment censored? No, I thought someone mentioned about Hunter's laptop. Pretty sure. Yeah, I see it. Not sure about coffee, but you can find some bananas at Chip and Dale's. A journalist in Tuesday's press briefing teed up the Punchbowl's report to Levitt and Tuesday's Secretary Scott Bessent and Treasury Secretary, Jesus, this is how tired I am, asking if they agreed that Amazon moves was a crystal clear demonstration that it's American consumer and not China who's going to have to pay these policies. Levitt opted to respond because she said she just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcements. She said the company's decision was not a surprise, saying Reuters recently wrote that Amazon has partnered with the Chinese propaganda arm. And then she held out a printout of a Reuters report from December of 2021. Cool. That Amazon complied with an edict from Beijing's government that it removed customer reviews and ratings from a book of Chinese President Xi Jinping's speeches and writings. Okay. Waiting to see how expensive Starbucks is going to see. Oof. 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 The censorship is affecting my mental health. If it makes you feel better, I see the comment. I saw it. I don't know if anyone else can see the comments, but it came through. This woman is pure evil. Yep. China-based fashion giant Shein and Temu have both added massive surcharges in recent days. Temu now includes a line on its checkout tally showing an actual import charge that adds up to 145% for each item. Incidentally, the percentage of the tariffs. The Trump administration's response to Amazon came as Bezos joined other billionaire and tech leaders in cozying up to the Republican president since he won the election. After frequently catching Trump's ire in years past, Bezos in December expressed optimism about the Republican second term, saying he believes Trump has grown calmer and more confident. Jesus, man. Yeah, sure, dude. $10 venti Americano. Yep. Of course they want to put that on the bill to save their own business. Amazon doesn't want to be viewed as ripping people off either. Partner went to protest the Trump rally here, and there was more protest. There are more protesters than supporters. Nice. Yeah, Trump has definitely grown calmer. Yep. If there's a word that I can ascribe to Trump is calm. When I think of Trump, I think calm. I paid $6 for a latte today, but it's local business run by one person. She's a very nice lady. That's not too bad, especially for like a local business. That's not too bad. I would pay $6 to a local business. Yeah, very stable genius. Bezos drew further accusations of seeking to court Trump when he forced the Washington Post, which he owns, to restrict its opinion section of publishing only pieces in defense of personal liberties and free markets. But Amazon's business has become under strain in the face of Trump's sweeping tariffs, especially as 145% duty on China, where up to 70% of Amazon goods are sourced. As Amazon merchants have started hiking prices on a wide array of goods, in response to the tariffs, the company has started emailing the sellers to gauge the impact of Trump's agenda. Levitt, after delivering her statements on Amazon, was asked if Bezos is still a Trump supporter. Look, I will not speak to the president's relationship with Jeff Bezos, but I will tell you, this is certainly a hostile and political action by Amazon. So, yeah. I read UPS is laying up to 20,000 employees and shutting 73 facilities due to reduced Amazon demand. Wow. Yikes. That's not good. That's not good at all. By calm, do they mean sleepy? I heard Hegseth is wigging out. Yeah, probably because he was almost axed. He was on the chopping block there. I don't know if they're actually going to get rid of Hegseth or not. Or maybe they're just waiting for the opportunity to get rid of him, but yeah. Jeff Bezos could turn face here and just reinstate that policy. Yep. I'm well tied into the tech sector, and a few of them are pulling out. Consumer protection is a hostile political action. Yeah, I guess it is when you end all the consumer protection. Yep, and also like the political action was made by themselves. They made this political. This was a political decision that they made. It's just they don't like it being on display because they know it's bad. Consumer protection is just like HR at your work. They're there to protect the business against you. More cool stuff happening. The U.S. Dismisses all authors of the National Climate Assessment. Cool stuff. President Trump's administration has dismissed all contributors to the U.S. government's signature study that informs federal and local governments on how to prepare for climate change impacts, according to an email sent to them on yesterday. The dismissal of nearly 400 contributors to the sixth National Climate Assessment, which is mandated by Congress, leaves the future of reports in doubt since a multi-year peer-reviewed analysis is due for publication in 2028. So that's cool. At this time, the scope of the NCA 6 is being evaluated in accordance with the Global Change Research Act of 1990, the email seen by Reuters said, referring to the legislation that kickstarted the assessments that was signed by Republican President George Bush. The climate assessment has been overseen by the Global Change Research Program, which the Trump administration dismissed earlier this month, and had coordinated input from 14 federal agencies and hundreds of external scientists. Cool. It's 40 effing degrees in June, but the climate is definitely not changing. Yeah, so, Celsius, yes. I mean, it's not great. And the fact that, like, he's axing, these offices is bad. Really bad. Really, really bad. Freedom units. Later assessment, the last assessment published in 2023 said climate change was increasingly imposing costs on Americans as prices rise for weather-related insurance for certain floods, medical care, and as medical care becomes more expensive as people face threats like extreme heat. The White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the email. The Trump administration has targeted scientific research in several areas and sweeping government jobs to curtail what is called wasteful spending, including at the NIH, the EPA, and the NOAA. The climate assessment was a targeted Project 2025, the right-wing Heritage Foundation written policy blueprint that has helped shape some of Trump's policies. Project 2025's chapter on scientific agencies said the National Climate Assessment should be reshaped to ensure contributors are better scrutinized. Yeah, sure. Cool, man. Yikes. Volcano insurance is not a joke. We have an active volcano close, Mount Baker. No, not a joke at all. Oof. Sheesh. Is there nuclear war insurance? No, I don't think so. Like, if you read insurance policies, okay, like, I happen to work in the insurance industry. And there's specific exclusions for, like, stuff like that. Like, I'm not even joking. And the nuclear is ironically considered an act of foreign aggression. Your insurance does not cover that. Yep, there's literally specific exclusions for that. Like, I'm not even, I wish I was joking. I was told this by my agent. Yeah, 100%. 100%. As someone like again, as someone who works within the insurance industry, yeah. There is even policies that literally say, like, look, bro, nuclear stuff is not gonna nope. Cause that's not yeah. Act of war, act of God, you have to get very expensive and special riders to cover more. Yep. Yeah, like, they'll literally say, like, look, bro, if you get into, like, a foreign conflict, like, good luck. Yeah, like, for example, some of the policies that state here, like this specifically, like exclude. And again, this is not. It depends on your insurance, of course, but it would say stuff like, yeah, excluding stuff from resulting from war. But yeah. Of course, they want to know, like, the specific tree because maybe there's some kind of, like, weird language play. Insurance, you really have to, like, you really, really, really have to, like, read in between. Like, you have to literally go line by line. Like, yeah, insurance is like that. I have a dog. I have a couple of dogwood trees. Yeah, it's your fault that you should have known that the tree had shallow roots. Should have studied horticulture. True. We literally need to know what tree it is, if it's native to our city, planted by someone else, or literally the roots. Yeah, because they could argue, okay, that it was negligent. If somebody did that, they could say, like, well, you planted the tree here and made that chain of events unfold, therefore, like, we're not going to pay you, right? So, like, yeah, of course they're going to try to argue that. Yeah, I could totally see that. I could totally see that being the case. Like, it's an argument that an insurance company would try to make. Like, oh, wait, what kind of tree was it? Oh, did somebody plant it there? Oh, it's not native? Huh. No offense to dogwoods. Dogwoods are pretty trees. Have you seen dogwoods in bloom? Have you seen dogwoods in bloom? It's pretty. They have pretty flowers. Yeah, they do. They do. They do. They're lovely. I have one outside my window and they smell nice. Yeah, it sounds like a monopoly problem. All right, folks. It's just past 7. I gotta get out of here. I would love to have healthcare for all. Me too. I'm gonna go hit a pub and celebrate with my candidate. Well, congratulations on not going Maple MAGA. Congratulations on not going Maple MAGA, and congratulations on Poilievre losing his seat. Thank you, I appreciate that. Good stream, thank you. Alright, folks. Time for me to get out of here. Today's supposed to be the last day of Zatale's America's Unhinged. Come by 8 p.m. Eastern and show support. Oh, look, yeah, we're not that far from now. Francesca. And show some support for Francesca. Nice. I can't wait to never type the name Poilievre. Later. Trump is doing a rally. Why do we still have to put up with rallies? Like, you already know you're already the president. Yeah, I'm suspecting we're not gonna learn anything different, right? Like, I've gotten to the point where like I don't even cover the rallies anymore. It's just like, dude, it's gonna be the same garbage, the same xenophobia, the same election denialism, the radical left, and of course, the racism with the anti-immigration stuff. Like, it's just like a revolving thing. It's yeah. I still can't believe the dude's out there making rallies still. But yeah. PB had a bad day. He did, and we're all here for it. Agreed. There's no point in covering the rallies. Thank you, Sasha. Rating Left Reckoning. Go for it, folks. I think we're just about to head out here. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Thank you for the folks on Twitch. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. Thank you for the new follows. Again, you guys are what makes this channel grow. Thank you for everything. I appreciate you guys. For the folks on YouTube, thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for liking the stream. Subscribe, folks. Subscribe. We're at 356 or 57. I can't remember. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for your support. If you want to support the channel directly, consider checking out the merch store, hitting !tip. Check out the Substack. Join the Discord if you want to keep up with the channel tomorrow. Okay? Don't forget, folks, tomorrow there will be no regular stream. Okay? We'll be on Left Past 10 at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us on the Letter Hack. Thank you for the stream. No, thank you for hanging out. Join us on the Letter Hack at 10 p.m. Okay. Thank you, Bozy. Yeah, just a tip. Look at that. Boom. Join the Discord. Also, folks, we do movie events as well on the Discord. We do movie events. Don't forget to tell Matt Leck that ADT sent you from Left Reckoning. So if you go raid to Left Reckoning, don't forget to tell Matt A Difficult Truth says hello. All right, folks. Thank you to Heat. Thank you to Michael Hassler for modding the chat. I appreciate it. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the Letter Hack, okay? See ya. Left is best. All right, folks, hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.